All right, questions, people. Here's one. And one important thing here is to remember is wait for the mic, because otherwise it won't go into the streaming.
Hello, I'm Simon. I want to know how you see the role of schools in teaching digital literacy, since the teachers don't know so much about digital literacy.
Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to talk first and foremost. I think about this a lot as running an education company. I think one of the problems with schools is that their model makes it such that you have to have been doing something for a long time before there are enough teachers to teach it in like the college setting, which is why they still teach like Java and really old languages in computer science departments all across the country. It's very rare to find a class on web applications, even though they've been around for like 5 or 7 years, which is why you've seen a lot of these coding boot camps and things pop up, right? So I think they need to move faster in this regard, but there's a lot of options that exist out there to sort of fill in the gaps between schools and actual job skills these days. We're seeing more of that. But the other thing is like the internet as a distribution channel for teaching people in places where they don't have access to this stuff has really kind of revolutionized, you know, the amount of people that can learn this, even if they don't actually live around a college or have the money to pay for it.
I would just add, I think this is a kind of new update to the liberal arts model, which is liberal arts is designed to teach you how to think. And so something like computational thinking is just kind of evolving and expanding what that really means, like what disciplines are a part of that humanities background. So.
Yeah, and I mean, to the point about computational thinking, I think that doesn't necessarily have to take the form of teaching somebody something in front of a screen. Like I had a friend who'd been doing workshops like with very small children that were just sort of about how the network functions. And like when you think about it, Traceroute could be very easily turned into a game that's not unlike tag. And so there are these kind of concepts that you can kind of break down at a very like basic level, which I think is encouraging.
More questions? Over here we got one. Please state your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Henrik, and I have a question maybe to you, Sarah, or maybe to the whole team. You mentioned how big companies know more about us and what we do online. Is that all bad, or is there nothing good about that?
I mean, it certainly runs the internet, right? It's the business model of the internet, and so there's certainly good parts about that. I think, in part, it's problematic when we don't get to see it or don't get to kind of inquire about it. And so I think the danger is in keeping it hidden and not kind of making it more a part of our everyday experience and how we kind of think about what our role is in this like larger ecosystem. So
follow up on that and what we said before, like both Sarah and Ingrid, knowing what you know and what you showed us, are you inspired or are you scared? And why?
I mean, I'm inspired. I think there is like a lot of interesting things that could happen. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like political and financial roadblocks to changing the way that infrastructure is perceived and how it works. But there are people working on alternative models. It's out there.
So I personally don't like to think in terms of binaries of scared or inspired, and so I think all of the above. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at with talking about critical approaches to technology, is to say, okay, yes, critical doesn't necessarily mean bad, it just means thoughtful and kind of considered and kind of working through what it all means to us. So
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay, more questions? No? Oh, okay.
You are all digitally literate now.
Yeah, how many feel it's so hard to say, I think, digitally literate now? Raise your hand. Okay, but you'll have the chance to meet these guys during lunch and learn so much more.
Thank you.
Lunch will be served, I actually don't know where it is. I just know that you're supposed to follow the signs, and there is some kind of surprise going on. So lunch now for an hour, and then we'll see you guys again. All right, thank you.